All right, I want to start off by talking about this week, obviously homecoming. It's an exciting week it's family weekend. Obviously, I'm an alum, so homecoming's a fun weekend. A lot of people coming back. I know my college roommate's coming into town. I'm looking forward to seeing him. And we have WMU Giving Day tomorrow, which is a big day for us. And all the funds that we raise are going to go to Dennis Corbin's Memorial Fund. In his mental health initiatives, which is going to be a cool day tomorrow. This week we got Miami. They're a good football team. I mean, they're a physical football team. They've played Iowa, Cincinnati, Ohio State, and three of the toughest teams I've seen. And they played well. Their quarterback is a young kid. He's playing well. So it's going to be an exciting weekend for our alum coming back. As far as last week, excited about the effort that they played with in the second half, especially the defense, holding Toledo to 7 points. I think it was 134 yards. Yeah, there it is, 134 yards. We climbed our way back into the game. Offensively, we had some chances to finish the game and get back into it and tie the game. We didn't get it done, which is frustrating. It's something that I know our kids are excited to get back out there and play again. We got to start faster. We started fast at home. We got to start fast this weekend to give ourselves a chance to beat Miami. Questions?
Miami's a team that you talked about their non-conference and what they've done. You guys are a team that has a similar non-conference resume. You play tough teams. What is the value of that when you get into these games? How much does that help prepare you for what you're about to see?
That's a good question. I think it definitely physically it prepares you. I watch those guys play against Ohio State's offensive line or Iowa's offensive line. So they've been in some tough brawls, and they've held themselves. They got an interior guy, number 58. I'm a numbers guy, but he's a stud. I mean, I think he's the only one returning that we played against last year. He was good last year, but I think he's a dominant player in there, and watching him push around some of the guys that are playing in Ohio State, that's hard to do. So I think it just gets you mentally in a place where, you realize that, how physical the game has to be. And, it prepares, especially a kid like that, a young quarterback, going against defenses like that. Calms them down, gets them comfortable. Those are big, long, fast defenses, and it's funny because we all play different teams though, so you don't really know till you play somebody. And so we're getting to know everybody in our league right now, but no one really knows. Obviously, it was a crazy weekend with a lot of different. I know Ball State beat Northern and Central beat Eastern, and it's weird because we all play different teams, so there's really no connection to know. But it's exciting when you finally get to square off with them again. And we had an exciting game with them last year, and I know they're going to be ready to play.
You bounce back off a loss each time this year. I know this will be your third chance, but what do you see from your team in the week after the loss that helps you kind of?
They're resilient. I mean, they're a proud group. We've got a lot of vets, and they know we played a good team, and they know we played a good team on the road. And I think the defense has a lot of confidence the way they played the second half. I think our offense needs to get back in rhythm. We haven't been in rhythm, in my opinion, the last couple games for different reasons. John did not play his best game. Missed some throws, missed some reads, got hit, toughed it out. I mean, he did get up after a couple big hits, but we have to play better on offense, and we're capable of playing better on offense, in my opinion. And I know that was a good defense we went against, but we have to be better, and we have to put 60 minutes together on the road because currently we've played three pretty tough teams on the road. So we'll continue to get better at it.
That last play, John took a pretty good hit, saw that one trying to pick that first down. How was he feeling, after 6 consecutive?
He's banged up, I practiced today, so I think he's feeling good. I think he threw the ball really well today. I think he'll be harder on himself than anybody on a couple of throws he missed. couple big, just flat routes or a sail the route to a running back once, and only really missed one read. Probably just one. And it was in the last drive. We had a guy open down the field that he missed. He missed the coverage, which doesn't happen much with him, And so he's got a chip on his shoulder right now. So although I don't think I don't know if he's letting. I mean, he practiced great today because I think you couldn't keep him out even if we tried to. But he's banged up, but excited to get back out there,
Like you mentioned, he was under pressure a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
What's the message to your offensive line about the importance of keeping him?
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing is we got to give him time. He gets rid of the ball fairly quick, a couple of these things. The one thing that sometimes makes the quarterback hold on the ball longer is man coverage. And they basically came in our face and said, they played man the whole game, 0-1. And so that sometimes you have to hold it a tad longer in that. We got beat, I'd say 3 times, just one-on-one battles beat. And then we had one that we, our right tackle just MA'd. He didn't even go out to the guy he's supposed to go. We turned the guy loose, So 4 times. Yeah, I think we had 5 sacks. John got rid of most of the other ones, But that wears on a quarterback over time. They say the same thing about Brady in the Super Bowl. Just keep hitting him because it affects you. So, and we did some things coverage-wise to help him. We started chipping later and trying to protect him more and more. And, I think we rotated 2 or 3 different guys through at right tackle. We started chipping the right tackle because that D-end was doing a really good job. He had a good game. And, but yeah, we got to do different things. The hardest part was when you get down early, and something we have to continue to work on is when you get down early in a game, you end up throwing the ball 50 times. And when you throw the ball 50 times, you're going to get hit. I mean, that's just the name of the game. When you throw it at 35 and running the ball is a little bit easier, but you have to run the ball to let those defensive ends not pin their ears back. So it's a fine line when you get down early. When it's a close game, you can continue to run it and run your offense normally. When you get down early, you gotta catch up quick. Because you need to score, get it back and score. So you can't have 10-minute drives, So we threw it a little bit more. And anytime you get into the games like that, he's going to get hit more. Last year against Miami, we threw it. We got down early. It was just like last week's game. We got down, had to start throwing it more. He took some hits, played an unbelievable game last year. He threw some balls that we're watching it this week again, obviously. And had probably his best game or his biggest game, And so we got to keep him clean. And we can do some of that play calling wise and some of it protection wise. And sometimes it's just going to be our O-line having to win one-on-one battles.
As far as receivers go, only one upperclassman who's really had a huge impact this year is Keith Mixon. But how can you prepare some of the younger guys to be able to go out there and beat man coverage?
It's hard, We've been trying more and more ways, and they're getting better every week at it. I think Coach Gaither's what they've done. As young as they are, they've done a great job this year, but they're being challenged now. And we got to find ways to get Gio involved more and more. Mixon's done a great job in man coverage. He's obviously seen a ton of SEC man coverage, And the other guys, Sky made a couple of big man-to-man catches. And it's really more technique stuff is how you leave space for the quarterback. And, that's the way you beat man coverage. They're going to have – when they play man coverage, there'll be one more guy in the box. So running becomes difficult. But if you can complete a pass, a lot of times it's a touchdown because there's nobody left. To catch a break a tackle, you're gone. So we'll continue to work on it. We'll continue to find the right guys in one-on-one situations. And they're only going to get better every single time they do it. And so you just keep coaching them on the techniques. And the thing is they care. I mean – Bus had a couple chances to give us a little bit more space on the sideline and just try to keep his head up because he gets so mad at himself because he cares so much, And that's the best part about coaching that young group of wideouts is that they take it personally. I have to go over there and like pick them up on the sideline because they want it, And so, which is really makes for a bright future,
You've played 6 games, so I think we're past the point of anything that's happened is just a hot start or a cold start. Mm-hmm. How special of a season is Gio Ricci having right now for you?
pretty special. I mean, we've had to get cuter and cuter to get him in man coverage because they ended up having 2 on him most of the day. I don't know if you saw it, but we got him bunched to the field, motioned our back outside of the bunch to make it 4-by-1. It was the only way to get him in one-on-one, really. And we got him in one-on-one. He scored a touchdown, So, the frustrating part is sometimes to get him in one-on-one situations. I mean, the 2 big sacks that we took, which we can't take. 2, they're both design plays to try to get Gio in a good situation because it takes a while sometimes from the tight end position to get him outside in those situations. Sometimes we just line him up out there as well. But he is a matchup nightmare, and he's been doing a ton of great things. He just finds a way to make a difference in the game every time, And we have to continue to find ways to get him the ball because it's going to become harder and harder. Because the extra guy they're putting down in the box a lot of times is on top of him. So they got a guy manning him plus another guy bracketing him. And we're continuing to find ways to move him around and use that to our advantage. It's really helping Mix, because Mix is not getting any leverage defender on him. He's just getting a true matchup. And Mix is pretty good athlete. And same way with Sky, So it's been – He's actually opening up opportunities for other players, and that's like the ultimate compliment from it when a defense has to do something different to try to stop you that they wouldn't normally do, and that's what they're doing. And he's still finding ways to be productive, which is the best thing he can possibly do in these tough situations.
Braden Fisk seems like he's having a really nice season. I think last year he was listed as like a 250-pound interior defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Can you talk about his growth physically and just kind of mentally?
Athletically, he is special. I mean, he can run. And he was on the scout team last year, played the last 4 games, a redshirt freshman. Him and McCabe, and those 2 are going to be really good players, And his recruiting was the most interesting. I mean, every kid has a recruiting story, but his was very, very interesting because he was from Michigan City, Indiana, right on the border. And he was an offensive guard. And we went into the high school and talked to the coach, and the coach said, "Hey, listen, he's my best player." They ran the veer double wing. He goes where he's a puller. He's basically saying, if you follow him, that's where we run the ball. He's the most in our offense. One of those high school offenses, like that's the most valuable player. So I'm not moving him on defense. He goes, I put him on defense for 7 plays. He had 7 sacks. He's like, but I'm not moving him. And I was like, well, normally you recruit defensive guys to go to the offensive line. You don't recruit offensive linemen to go play defense. So we made him come to our O-line D-line camp, and he dominated, and that was it, And so he was the first one I've ever high school offensive lineman coming to play defensive line in college. But yeah, his effort level. He's still got a couple things technique-wise he needs to work on. But I mean, he can run. I mean, run. So he'll run things down, and his effort level is special, And so excited about him. Excited about McCabe too. He had probably his best game, being where he needs to be, and the way the defense flew around. I mean, as we start getting, you can see the rotations we got going on the D line. It's like hockey lines, going in and out, and it's really they're not having to play 70 plays. Each guy's playing like 35 plays, so they can really just lay it all out there, and it's made a big difference.
Is it surprised you how much weight he's been able to put on, or was he one of those lanky guys who just need to get? Yeah,
you knew he was going to get bigger. I think by the time he even got to us, I think he was 270. I think he's 285 now. 285. I think he's about 285, and McCabe's about 280, 285, and they're like twins. And we knew he could play guard if we needed him to, but we really felt like he could be a special defensive tackle. Which those guys are hard to find. And if you have those 2, and then you throw Holly in there. And we would have had friend like that. That's a fun group in there that runs around. So we moved Tim Collins down to play a little bit of the 3 technique. He's doing a great job. Guire's probably going to be back this week to play a little bit as well in there. So we have a great group of interior guys that can hopefully make running the ball harder and get after quarterbacks.
Hit them at halftime, giving up 24 points on defense and go in. And mood of obviously Espo.
I'm glad there wasn't a mic in there.
Then obviously in the second half, only giving up 7 points, 130 yards. Obviously Trey Hayward had a big to do with that. What does Espo get those guys going? How did they make it? Just adjustments on the field, or was it more of the effort that on the second half?
There wasn't really a ton of adjustments. You know what I mean? one or two little adjustments. More adjustments in the way we called it. We had the plays in. They had attacked a couple of our coverages in certain ways that we were struggling. So we really stuck to like one or two coverages in the second half that we thought would be safer. And then we just need to play harder. I mean, that's what a great defense does, is they just play harder than everybody else. Well, I talk about Michigan State. They don't do anything crazy. They just play harder than everybody else every play. There's not one play where they're not playing harder than everybody else. And that grows over time. And I think hopefully our defense figured that out this second half, is that when they really want to go, it wasn't an adjustment offensively. Sometimes you make offensive adjustments and you're like, oh, I got a new play that's going to work, you know. It's really just effort and athleticism, and we have athleticism, and we're starting to show the effort to be a dominating defense, and that's what we need to be, you know. And we've shown flashes of it, and like I said, we're getting back. I mean, every single week you start seeing it, and I think it'll just continue to grow. I know they had a great day today. I could hear them on the other side of the field, which was a good thing when they play with that type of energy. But yes, halftime was colorful, and we needed it to be, and then we came out and got ourselves back in it because of our defense. You know, offensively, we had 4 drives. We had a block, punt, and interception, a drive at the end of the half, and a drive at the end of the game. You know, that 4 big drives that we didn't get any points, and that's not good enough. You're not going to beat a good team that way. And that's at the end of every game. I'm very bluntly honest with the offense, the defense, and the special teams, and who played well and who didn't. And offensively, we didn't play well enough. Period. And we'll have to get better.
Coach spent a decent amount of time talking about how much confidence you guys got from that second half performance. So just elaborate on that. What's the message in that room about the way you guys played after that?
Oh, yeah. When we play with energy, we're a whole different team. Like, with energy, we all have fun. We're all on the same page. So when we play with energy, we play with great effort. Like, it all comes down to effort. Like, you can scheme up anything you want, but without effort, what are you going to end up with? So with effort and energy, like, we're a whole different team, and we can stand with anybody in the nation, I feel like.
Miami, what do you see on film? Obviously, from what they did last year, that was a down-the-wire game. What do you see from them?
Yeah, they're a great offense. Like, they're a pretty tough team. They played 3 of the toughest teams, like, I feel like, in the country. So we know that they're a tough team. Huge credit to their offense, huge credit to their coaching staff. But they're going to come and play us, so we're going to play hard. So it's going to be a great game.
What was the mood like in that halftime locker room as a defense? Were you guys pretty angry about the way that played out, or was it just about remaining focused?
Yeah, we weren't really satisfied with our outcome in the first half, but that's why we had to turn it up in the second half. So we really wanted to make an emphasis of having energy. So this game, we want to come out fast. We need to start fast. Like, everybody needs to be on the same page. So when we play with energy, like, it's a whole different game. So that's what our major point is, to start fast.
When you're playing on the road, is it a little bit more difficult as a defense, you know, when so much of it is just about, you know, energy and flying around? Is it harder to come out as amped up on the road as it is at home?
Yeah, I mean, the road is, as everyone knows, the road is different from home. Like, you don't have the home crowd behind you, but we really want to emphasize of being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So that's what really want to do in this game. So we just got to come out. Like I said, with energy, we're going to play really hard. So we just need to come out really fast and just play our game. So let loose and just go have fun.
You look at every home game on your schedule. You go from the first one, which is the first game of the year.
Yeah.
You have University night, then you have Central, now you have homecoming. Does
Yeah.
it seem like every time you guys are playing at Waldo Stadium, it's a big game?
Yeah, it's always great to play in Waldo, especially homecoming. So it's going to be a lot of energy in the atmosphere. And with a lot of energy creates a lot of fun. So when we have fun, like, the game just slows down, like, you're in the mode. When you're in that moment, like, you can make a ton of plays for each other. Like, everybody's celebrating. You hear the crowd roar, and everything builds up. So it's a great atmosphere to play in Waldo.
Individually, I'm sure, you know, the amount of work that you put in has gotten you to where you are now.
Yeah.
To see the results, you've had such a strong season, multiple weeks with double-digit tackles, player of the week. What does that feel like when you put in all that work and see it off?
Like, I'm always grateful but never satisfied. Like it's good to have all the accolades, but our really main goal is to come out with the W. So we really want to get the win. Even if I didn't have the accolades, that's perfectly fine. I love to win, hate to lose. So the main goal is to get the win. So I'm grateful for all the accolades, but I really just want to win. Like, my main focus is do anything for the team to win.
Hey Trey, what was the difference? I mean, you came in as a freshman, running a lot of special teams units, and then what was the difference to get to that where you're playing this year? Was it just schemes that you're trying to figure out, or trying to stay in your position, or just kind of following what Coach Espo was doing? What was kind of the difference that made you that starting linebacker of the year this year?
Really, the difference was like experience. Like it takes game time experience to really tone in on your craft. Like you got to keep working as a freshman. Like I don't think I was really mentally prepared to like really have insight on the game. But now, like with a lot of game experience, a lot of senior leadership in our LB room, like I really learned a lot from them guys, and they really learned from me. So when we learn from each other, it all coincides on the field. So that really made me who I am now, and I can always get better. So.
Was there one guy like Asante or Spillane or some of those guys that you kind of said that's the kind of player I want to play like when I'm their age?
Oh yeah, definitely. Asante, Spillane, and even Caleb Bailey. Like with Asante, like he plays hard. Like, and that's what I really want to inspire in my game, to play hard. Spillane, he's smart. Like he knew the playbook inside and out. He always knew what was going to happen, where the ball was going. So that's where I take from him. And Caleb, he was just really a finesse guy. Like he gets off blocks, he can make plays downhill, he can do a lot. So I really took their traits and turned it into my game, and it really worked.